The Intergalactic Military Academy's Armory Hall buzzed with the chittering, clicking, and harmonic frequencies of 100 different species. Elsa stood in line, her weathered combat knife secured in its leather sheath at her hip. Around her, cadets from across the galaxy displayed their weapons with pride. Plasma rifles crafted by the Zorthak master smiths. Molecular disruptors passed down through Valerian bloodlines. Neural scramblers worth more than a small starship. Next, barked Instructor Cathrax, his 4 eyes scanning the crowd with practiced disinterest. The Mantid officer had seen thousands of weapons pass through his scanner over the decades, and very few impressed him anymore. Jixon stepped forward ahead of Elsa, presenting his standard-issue plasma pistol. The scanner hummed, projecting holographic data into the air. Military grade. Terran Alliance. Rank, common. Cathrax's mandibles clicked in what might have been approval or dismissal. With Mantids, it was always hard to tell. Adequate. Next. Elsa approached the scanner platform, her boots echoing on the polished deck. She unsheathed her knife and immediately, whispers rippled through the assembled cadets. A Kurathi cadet, its crystalline form refracting the overhead lights, emitted a sound like breaking glass, laughter in its species language. Is that a primitive blade? It transmitted through its translator implant. The human brought a knife to weapons inspection, wheezed Gormak, a Threxian whose triple-lunged respiratory system made every word sound like an insult. What's next? Pointed sticks? Even some of the other human cadets shifted uncomfortably. In an age where battles were fought across light years with weapons that could split atoms or fold space, Elsa's knife looked like a museum piece. Jixon, who had returned to stand beside her, frowned at the mocking crowd but said nothing. He'd known Elsa for 6 months, ever since they'd been assigned as training partners. She never did anything without reason. Elsa placed the knife on the scanner platform without a word, her expression neutral. The blade was about 8 inches long, dark gray with distinctive patterns rippling across the steel like frozen rivers. The handle was simple, wrapped in worn leather that had molded to its owner's grip over countless hours. Cathrax's primary eyes narrowed as he activated the scanner. His secondary eyes widened, a rare expression of surprise. The holographic display flickered, then blazed to life with text that made the entire Hall fall silent analysis. Complete material, meteoric iron, Wittmannstetten pattern. Detected, age 0.5 billion years, estimated composition, iron-nickel alloy with trace elements found only in extraterrestrial sources origin. Gibeon meteorite, fallen Earth, approximately 30,000 years before present craftsmanship, master-level forging. Carbon steel folded with meteoric iron. 347 layers detected edge retention. Molecular alignment superior to 99.97% of submitted weapons' historical significance. Forged using techniques predating spaceflight. Rank. Legendary. The word legendary pulsed in gold holographic letters 3 feet high. The Armory Hall erupted. Cadets pressed forward, their previous mockery transformed into disbelief. The Kurathi cadets' crystalline structure actually cracked slightly, an involuntary response to shock. Impossible, Gormak breathed, his 3 lungs working in asynchronous rhythm. The scanner must be malfunctioning. Cathrax ran the scan again. The same results appeared, even more detailed the second time. How? The Mantid instructor asked, his voice carrying a reverence that made several cadets snap to attention instinctively. How does a human cadet possess a blade forged from stellar material? Elsa picked up her knife, examining it in the light as though seeing it for the first time herself. It was my grandfather's, she said quietly. He was a blacksmith. Not the kind who made horseshoes or decorative pieces. He studied ancient techniques. Metallurgy was his obsession. She turned the blade, letting the Wittmannstetten patterns catch the light. When I was 10, he took me to Namibia. We camped under stars that humans had watched for millennia, and he told me about the Gibeon meteorite. Tons of iron-nickel alloy scattered across the desert, older than Earth itself. The Nama people used it for tools centuries before anyone understood what it was. Jixon found himself leaning closer, fascinated. He'd carried a plasma pistol since basic training, never questioning it. But there was something in Elsa's voice, a connection to history, to craft, to something deeper than military requisition forms. He spent 5 years collecting fragments, Elsa continued. Another 3 years teaching himself to forge them properly. Heat treatment had to be perfect. Meteoric iron is temperamental. Too hot, and the crystalline structure breaks down. Too cool, and the alloy won't bond with the steel. She held the knife horizontally, showing the pattern. 347 layers, each one folded by hand. The carbon steel core gives it flexibility. The meteoric iron on the outer layers provides an edge that most species scanning equipment reads as theoretically impossible. A Valerian cadet, whose species had mastered plasma forging 10,000 years ago, extended a graceful limb toward the blade. "May I?" Elsa handed it over carefully. The Valerian examined it with instruments that extended from its carapace, then emitted a harmonic frequency of pure appreciation. "The molecular alignment," it sang, "is more precise than our automated forges achieve. And your grandfather did this. With hammers? With fire?" "With patience," Elsa corrected. "With understanding of the material? With respect for what came before." Cathrax's mandibles clicked rapidly, the mantid equivalent of applause. "This," he announced to the assembled cadets, "is what separates adequate soldiers from exceptional ones. Technology is a tool, but understanding, true understanding of your weapon, of its history, of the skills that created it." He gestured toward Elsa's knife. "That is what makes legends." The Karathi cadet approached, its crystalline form somehow conveying humility. "I apologize for my mockery, Cadet Elsa. I have learned something today." Elsa accepted the apology with a nod, sheathing her knife. As she returned to formation beside Jixon, he whispered, "You knew this would happen." "I knew the scanner would tell the truth," she replied with the ghost of a smile. "That's all I needed." As the inspection continued, cadets kept glancing back at the human with the ancient blade. In the armory that day, they learned that humanity's greatest weapon had never been plasma or lasers or molecular disruptors. It had always been the stubborn refusal to forget where they came from, even as they reached for the stars.